All right, I'm here with a friend, wrestler. I mean, he goes by a bunch of names now. I mean, I met him as one man, and now he's got nicknames. The dude's. I mean, Mr. International. You claim it, name it. He's probably done it. My man, Butch Hildebrand. What's up, my man? Welcome to the show.
Well.
Yeah.
We meet again.
I mean,
man.
Crazy, right? We met kind of both in wrestling doing our thing, and then you went and did your thing. I've been doing my thing. Now we're in Chicago, and we get to do this podcast.
Pumped.
Yeah.
I'm so happy right now. Like, honestly, I've been looking forward to this because I watch it. I pay attention.
Good.
And I think part of this paying attention is I love the concept. I love the flow. I just listened to what you did with Torres. You're really good, man. And I want to be around really good people.
Awesome,
That's my life, actually.
Sure.
I want to be around top performers. And what you're doing is awesome.
Dude, I
Plus,
appreciate
it's like
that.
a family setup.
Yeah. Got the whole, yeah, you know how we roll. We roll with the fam. You do it right. And I appreciate that because both, you guys have been around wrestling, you've been around production, you've been around educators, you've been around all that stuff. So when you guys say that, I value that because you're not just blowing smoke. You've seen it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just got back from Dubai. I did 9 hours of broadcasting in Yazik Paruski, Russian language, right?
Wow.
Not easy, and I don't speak Russian. I have to fake it. I said I know like 5 phrases and the happy birthday song.
Yeah.
Like я не играю гемнушки над порожа не веду.
Yeah.
Сожалению, день рождения. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I like that better than our happy birthday
Yeah,
song.
that sucks.
Yeah.
That was played out. This old.
Dude, I get so mad every time that song's sang because everybody sings it monotone and it kills me.
It's a birthday. It's a celebration.
Let's bring
what
it.
are we doing?
Let's bring it.
Let's go. And I know you know what this means.
Exactly. You go hard.
I mean, you have costume parties.
Yeah. I do it all. So listen, we're gonna get into this podcast, and we're probably gonna go off on tangents, this and that. I know your story to a certain degree, but my listeners don't. So let's dive straight back to young Butch. What type of kid are you? How do we you get introduced to wrestling? What's the story behind the Butch youth wrestling?
Started when I was 5. My dad was a wrestling coach at the high school. He was an English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask my dad what he was an English teacher, American literature, that was first.
Okay.
Lifelong educator. He taught 40 years. He died a few years ago. Up until that point, even the day he died, he's speaking about literature. So we didn't have daycare, right? We didn't have it. My mom worked in an attorney's office. We didn't have daycare. So I got to be this cool manager and fill up the water bottles, which I thought was awesome.
Yep.
Like water bottle. Okay, I'm going to go get the water and fill them up and make sure the team has them. And daycare was going to the wrestling room during wrestling season. Football was a bit different. I walked home. My sister used to beat me up or whatever it was. But I just kind of dreamed, it was like we were like wrestling around in the house. And I think my dad probably obviously wanted me to be a wrestler. And so my first match, I was 5 years old.
Okay.
I was 1-0 at one time, undefeated lifetime. Should have probably stopped there.
Yeah.
And then I got waxed the next time, and it was a single elimination tournament in Bel Air, Ohio. So right in the easternmost part of Ohio, right in the West Virginia Panhandle, Western Pennsylvania, and I got beat up, and I said I went home. I cried and cried and cried. And then I woke up and wanted to do it again, I think. And
That's how you remember it.
Yeah, that's how I remember
Yeah,
it. My dad kept it fun. And for us, it was, if I placed in the top 3 of the tournament, whatever tournament it was, I got to go again next week.
Okay.
But also, I grew up in a small town, Eaton, Ohio, closer, like right across the way from where you're from.
Yep.
We didn't have McDonald's yet.
Okay.
So the cool thing was, if I went to a wrestling tournament, we got to go eat out. Like, we got to go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing. This is all I ever want.
Yeah.
So that was the kicker. I was like, my dad lured me in with fast food.
Yeah.
and then, I went, wrestled, 5 years old all the way up through, did the elementary thing, did the junior high thing. And I think for a time I wanted to stop. I was pretty good at other sports. I played baseball. I played soccer. I was a swimmer. kind of
swimmer.
Yeah,
That's
I'm pretty good. You know what's wild though? I was pretty good at all of them.
Okay.
Soccer probably the best, to be honest with you. But we didn't have high school soccer at the school that I went to, so there was a ceiling there. I wasn't gonna. And my dad was also a football coach, so the high school football coaches on the defensive side were my dad and my assistant wrestling coach, Mike Hennessy, and as luck would have it, I would only play defense.
Yeah.
It's like I played in the SWBL, the slow white boy league, fantastic league. I was one of the faster of the slower white boys.
Okay.
So pretty good football career, honestly, but wrestling, I think about junior high school, I needed to make a decision. What do I want to do? I realized I'm going to be 5'6", probably 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Probably not going to go into the NFL. Definitely not the NBA, not Major League Baseball. Maybe wrestling is a thing, and I had a background in it. I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So I had some success, and then I think it was about 8th grade. I'd been going to high school practices since I was 5.
Right.
I think it was 7th or 8th grade I started beating the high school kids.
Okay.
And that's what kind of clicked for me as I was like, I could probably do this. Very, 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 I don't know how to say it, lack of discipline. I didn't train. I just wrestled. It was fine. My dad kept it fun. We didn't really care about wins or losses. We wanted to have fun, even up to being a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Didn't matter.
Did that help?
It may have helped. I think from a wrestling perspective, I could have trained a lot harder. You look at these kids today, and they're coming in freshman high school, and they're good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are real as freshmen. I couldn't tie my shoes when I was a freshman.
Right.
Let alone wrestle.
Right.
And so, whatever it was, my sophomore year of high school, I had a pretty good season, I guess, and I didn't make the state tournament, but that summer I wrestled at I made the cadet national team in Ohio, and I was like, it was my first taste out of this small Preble County, Ohio. Like, wow, there's real kids my age that are training. I didn't even know what training was.
Right.
Because as soon as wrestling was over, I went to lift for football. And then I was a lifeguard at the pool, and there were pretty girls there.
Right. Yep.
So,
Yep.
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man, there were some pretty ones too. So I'll tell you.
Listen,
Anyway,
that's the best job in the world. I was a lifeguard as well. I mean,
unmatched.
yeah, for sure.
I'm going to sit up here in this chair, catch a tan, and all the hot, rich girls were lifeguards.
Yeah.
We weren't rich. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Right. So training was out for that.
Training was out because I was busy.
Exactly.
And then my sophomore year, I did not make the state tournament, but I was close. But I beat people that did.
Okay.
And that's when it kind of switched. Like, I could probably be okay at this. I still didn't train. I probably did not train. I was really pretty good at football. I started as a middle linebacker as a sophomore in high school, and only 2 other sophomores at our school started that year. They both played college football. And I started getting a lot of letters for football, and I'm like, okay, like, do they know that I'm 5'5"?
Right. Yeah.
Do they know that I run about a 4.98 40?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
I could read the game, but I could read the game because my dad was an educator. When we used to for Saturdays and Sundays, we would watch football and we would learn about it, and we would watch the game films, and he would be running them back, and I'm like sitting there watching. So the teams that we played in high school were the teams that I had seen play on the video.
Yes.
For years. I know I could read them because I've been watching it. It's simple. Anyhow, I went in junior year, was relatively successful. I made the state tournament, and I had a returning state champion first round, and I had a decent match with him, so I knew I was there. Then I went in first round consolation, and I got beat. So I did 2 in barbecue, 0-2.
Yep.
Right, and I had another close match, and the guy placed 3rd, I think. So I'm like, I had 2 close matches with one with a guy 2-time state champ ended up being, and another guy who was close. I could probably do something here. Now I need to know what training is.
Right.
Let me work at this. Also, I digress. In my high school, the best thing you could do is make the state tournament in any sport. where we were from, it wasn't like go out and win 3 titles or 4 titles. It was make a state, make state, or states as they call it now. Pat Minio, I love you. But anyways, yeah. So make states. And I was like, I was never told you could be a 3-time, 4-time state champion. I knew about it, but these guys were legendary. Jimmy Jordan was legendary. Jeff Jordan, legendary. Al Freed, legendary. In Ohio, forget about it. This is before David Taylor. This is before these guys. Stieber, before all these guys. And so my senior year, I was I went and wrestled at juniors, and I was like junior nationals. I was like 2-2. Trained at St. Ed's in the summer, really good training camp, and I was wrestling. And I don't know if you saw Clash of Dynasties. Ben Hada did an amazing job. If you want to know about high school wrestling in Ohio 90s, watch Clash of Dynasties. Ben Hada absolutely crushed it, and Ben was a teammate of mine on these teams.
Okay,
but what happened was I'm up there with the kids from Walsh, the kids from St. Ed's, right? And these are Clint Musser and Jamie Grottle and Scott Overhold and Joe O'Neill and like, and then all the Ed's kids too. Because I like the Walsh kids. They were gangsters. Ed kids, they were like prissy. But what was happening was I'm starting to realize how good these kids are. And I'm not training and I'm keeping up with them. I'm wrestling with them. I got a chance here. Also, at the beginning or end of my sophomore year, I started wrestling with Jimmy and Jeff Jordan. This is before they had the state champ camp. I was actually, fun fact, Jimmy and Jeff Jordan's first state champion.
Oh.
Out of all the state champions they've had.
Wow.
On any level, I was number 1. Dan Bear won it the same year as me in 1995. But I was 145, he was 189. So I definitely won. But the next year they started the state champ camp.
Wow.
Before that, we used to wrestle in Vandalia, Ohio on Tuesday nights. And I used to go and wrestle. And I would wrestle Jimmy and Jeff, and they would absolutely kill me. Because Jimmy was a coach at Ohio State then. Come over, and they would just work us. They would bring in guys from Ohio State, wrestle with us, and they just killed us. And what I was thinking was, if I can get in on a leg on Jimmy Jordan, 2-time national champ. If I can get in on a leg, I could probably take other people down.
Sure.
And this is when it kind of started to switch. And that's what happened. My senior year, I had a pretty good year. Same record as James Torres, 1995, different weight class, 39-0. I don't think I got taken down. I don't think I got even close to taken down.
Wow.
And what's wild was it was really insignificant.
Really?
I don't know how to say this, but it was kind of like I expected it. I was in an interview for like one of the local TV stations that year, and they even said like he's confident, but he's actually cocky. This guy's a jerk. It wasn't. I just knew that I was putting the time in that other people weren't doing. I also am relatively athletically gifted, and thinking through this, I'm like, if I can go wrestle Jim Jordan and do okay, I can beat this schmuck from whatever high school. That ain't a problem. It's how bad can I beat him?
Right.
And you know, obviously during the 90s, Eds and Walsh were, thank God, both Division 1. So I slide right in 145 Division 2. And I think 140 was Drew Periano. He was a killer. And he was a 3-timer. And then I think at 152, I can't remember who it was, but Pat Knays was right. Oh, Johnny McGee, 4-timer.
Okay.
So I was like right in between them. Thank God. So I snuck in, got a state title, and then figured it out. Went to college. I went to Indiana, but I committed to Ohio State.
Okay.
I committed to Ohio State.
He's offended over here.
And the reason was Jim Jordan. My dad had a lot of respect for Jim, and I do still to this day. And but that was the year that he won a seat in the Ohio House in November, my senior year. So he said, I'm going to not be a coach at Ohio State anymore. I'm going to get into politics, which seems like it turned out okay for him. He's still, like, obviously, Congressman Jordan now, but and it has been for whoever knows how long. So I decided I had committed before my senior year, which was weird, but I just wanted to be a Buckeye. I'm from Ohio. I wanted to be a Buckeye.
Right.
also Ohio State at the time wasn't what Ohio State is now. They were like kind of average, to be honest with you. And I had friends that were going to Ohio State like at the time. So whatever it was, I went to high school nationals. I didn't place. I went 2-2, but one of my losses, my 2 wins were both over 3-time state champs. And one of my losses was a guy that was a 4-time state champ, and I beat him senseless. But I used to headbutt a lot of people, but I split him wide open, and they wouldn't let me, like, I couldn't get close enough, end up losing the match. But because that happened, I met Jason Kelber, and Jason Kelber was a national champ in Nebraska, but coaching at Indiana at the time. And he came up to me and said, "We want to get you to Indiana on a visit." And I was like, "Coach, I think I'm going to go to Ohio State." And he's like, "You're not going to be a Buckeye." He's like, "You're going to come to Indiana." And I was like, "All right." So what happened was I took a visit to Indiana, little 500 weekend.
Oh, that's the best weekend to come in.
That's the best college weekend you could ever imagine. This is the weekend I go. I walk in and I see this guy wearing dark sunglasses, floppy hair, no shirt on. He's built, and he's drinking a 40 in a brown paper bag. I didn't drink in high school.
Okay.
That often.
Right.
But I really didn't.
Yeah.
It was Alan Freed. And Al, if you ever want to have a weird conversation, schedule about 15 hours with Al Freed. And you're going to walk out and you're definitely going to be a flat earther.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to get weird.
Absolutely.
He's a weird dude. I love him, but he was an idol growing up. Alan Freed was the guy. He won 4 junior national titles. First one ever to do it. At like wrestling as a freshman, he won juniors. He didn't go to cadets. He won juniors. Espoir, I don't know how to say it, but that's what it was. World champion.
Yeah.
And Al Freed was like, at the time, Ohio wrestling.
Yeah.
And so I show up and he was drinking at a place called The Porch, which is still in existence. Actually, James and I used to live there after we both went. But yeah, it was, I saw Al Freed, and then as crazy as it sounds, they brought me in and said, I was probably like super hungover. And they said, they gave me an offer, and I was like, okay. And they said, name another coaching staff in the country that all the coaches are national champions. So you had Dwayne Goldman from Iowa, Jason Kelber from Nebraska, and Alan Freed that wrestled at Oklahoma State.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm committing. And then we found out Miran Karchalava was also going to be there.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, man, this is great. I have Kelber to work out with, I have Freed to work out with, and Miran all the same. Miran's super athletic. Freed is like banger, but super athletic and really skilled. And Kelber was just like 5'1", but unbelievably good. I mean, he beat Brands.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't, like, and I'm like, I have 3 national champs, Soviet national champ, 2 U.S. national champions to wrestle with. This is going to be an amazing time.
Yeah.
And rest of the year went fine. Actually, I loved it. I'm athletic, like wrestling is kind of easy, but now was the first time I was really training in the college room, figuring it out. We had a really, really tough room, to be honest with you. Like Roger Chandler was there. Andy Trevino was there. Jeff George was there. Like these guys, if you don't know their names, but you had to wrestle with them, like you did not want to wrestle these guys. Everybody knows Chandler, but he's the head coach at Michigan State, but Andy Trevino was like scary.
Yeah.
Scary. And we happen to be the same way. Like, I'm still scared of Trevino. I'll probably kick his ass right now, but I'm scared of him kind of.
Yeah.
I remember I threw him one time, and I remember thinking, oh, this is way too early in the go for me to throw him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get up.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's going to get up, and he's going to kill me. Literally, he's going to kill me. And so I'm like, dude, this is going to be, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. But by the time, as the redshirt year goes over, by the time my freshman year, so my second year, goes in, Kelber's gone, Miran's gone, Freed's gone. We didn't have a coach. We had Dwayne Goldman, but Dwayne wrestled at 190. So we didn't have a coaching staff at all, let alone my workout partners. And so it was really misguided. Unfortunately, I think Dwayne did an amazing job holding it together because what else was he supposed to do? We pulled in Mark Bruner, and Mark was just living in the neighboring town. He had quit wrestling at IU. He just happened to be there. So he just grabbed literally a guy off the street, and Bruner's a great dude.
Yeah.
I love Mark Bruner. He ain't a college wrestling coach, man.
Right.
It's just not the thing. And then we got like, a few people came in. We eventually got like Scott Norton came in. Charles Burton was an Olympian. He came in. He beat Gutches to make the team. Lenny Zaleski came in. Thank God. Because Lenny Zaleski really like brought the coaching mentality. Dwayne, listen, I'll say this a million times. Dwayne Goldman, as a wrestler, very good. 3-time national finalist, second, 1-time national champion, so 4-time finalist. As a husband and father, lights out. Amazing. And really, like, to this day, if I have to put like a pedestal of people like in my life, influential, Dwayne Goldman is there. Not for being a wrestling coach, but because of his the humanity he brought. It was a little bit difficult because he wrestled 190, so I wasn't working out with him.
Right.
And Dwayne was still like the hardest worker in the room. He's a Gable guy, so he was still winning. His job was to win.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really get to partake in this. And so we really had to lean on the teammates. And I think that's why this group of 90s wrestlers from Indiana, we probably underperformed. And not by probably mean we definitely underperformed.
Sure.
Horribly. But we're really tight. And we're really tight because we didn't have a coaching staff for 2 or 3 years. We had Dwayne.
Yeah.
And he did his best to hold it together. And then it was piecemealing everybody in there. And you're like, man, what could have happened? But you know what? I can't look back on it. I met the most amazing people in my life there.
Yep.
I'm not married any longer, but I met my wife through Indiana. I got my first dog at Indiana. You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to change any of that?
Sure.
You know, listen, IU from 1995 to 2000 was amazing. You know, like we're eating La Bamba burrito. We're drinking 5 cent or 15 cent beers at Bluebird. We're sinking the Bismarck and Nick's. Like, we're having fun.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't say we're wrestling.
Exactly.
Like, that was like down here.
Yeah.
The only person that kind of brought that back was when Lenny came in. And Lenny, also an Iowa guy, completely different mindset. Very soft, very like approachable, and very like well thought out.
Okay.
With his ability to coach is like he gets to you in here. Not like I'm gonna hand fight with you. He's like, no. Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. That's what it was. And it was wrestling. I think, this is all the way through high school, college. September 11th happens. I'm done with wrestling. Man, that changed everything for me. So now I'm like, I need to figure it out. I need to know what I want to. I was teaching kindergarten. And September 11th happened. I went down to the recruiting station. The only people there were Marines because, hoorah. They asked me if I could do any pull-ups.
You did them all.
Of course I could do pull-ups. Come on, man. A college wrestler, dude. What's wrong with you? So I did pull-ups and then enlisted in the Marine Corps. They said, "Do you want to be an officer enlisted?" I said, "What's the difference?" I don't know. My parents hated me for it.
Yeah.
But I needed to make a decision. It was my first adult decision. And enlisted in the Marine Corps, and I went in as a reservist. They got me. They suckered me on this because we were getting deployed constantly. And they're like, active duty. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. I had a girlfriend. They're like, well, this sounds great because you get to stay at home 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, no worries. Probably never going to get deployed.
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
But I had a serious girlfriend at the time who ended up becoming my wife and the mother of my kids, and she's an amazing human. We're best friends. However, it was really tough on me because I still didn't know what I wanted. I wanted to be a Marine now, but I was only a part-timer. So Dwayne actually brought me back in to coach for 2 years at Indiana, and I really did my best at the time. Then Mike Mena was there. I was there. I can't remember who else. Scott Norton, I think, was still there. I really wanted to kind of embrace a little bit of what my dad did, a little bit of what my Mike Hennessy's like. I mean, in my Mount Rushmore, Mike Hennessy's there. He's my assistant high school coach, but the way that he brought his energy and intensity to wrestling was like comical, but it made it fun.
Sure.
but I wanted to kind of mimic what these guys are doing. So as weird as it sounds, like the biggest impact in my life was like, you know, people that I'd known my whole life. They should have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
I think that I think the coaching staff at IU at the time, frankly, did the best they could.
Sure.
And I will never doubt that. Like, they tried. It was just a different time, and
Yeah.
we were a different group of people.
For sure.
I mean, we were pretty good drinkers, and by pretty good, I mean we were very good.
Yeah.
We were extremely good fighters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not necessarily great wrestlers, very good fighters. And this was a mentality we had. Our mentality was, we didn't go to school to get good grades. We go to school to beat people up on the weekends, and then wrestle a little bit. That's what we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you know, interesting little story is, so you guys graduated in 95, I graduated in 96.
Yep.
I took a college visit to IU to the room when you guys were in there. You were, James, you were 26 pounder or 25 pounder? What it was?
James, 126. Torres was 126.
Yes.
Nah, he never made 126.
But allegedly he was, 126. So whenever I came in, so they showed, like I was talking to the coaches and stuff like that, and the workout, you were working out and with a partner, and they said this will be your group. So a weird thing is I was in your room with you guys.
Wild.
But yeah, with just weird, thing. Didn't meet you until, whatever, 20 some years later, and just met you today. But it's an interesting thing is that all the way back then. But what we'll say, the reason I say that, I think if you would look up the 90s, mid 90s wrestling team for IU, it'll be, the team photos should be mugshots.
Yeah, easily.
Because that, you guys, I knew that coming down there. I was like, you better know how to fight, and you better be willing to fight. Because I mean, that it was the reputation that you guys had.
Worst.
I mean,
we were the worst.
You guys were a pretty hard group.
We were a bunch of tough kids from really good families.
Which is, it's kind of wild. That's why I was thinking James was going to tell me, Dad, man, I used to, grew up in the streets, and then I meet you, and you're a good dude, got a great dad, great mom.
All of our families were amazing. We didn't have broken homes.
Okay, so I got to ask, what was it? Here's my theory. Such good lives, kind of lived in this little bubble. You get away from home a little bit. You're tough. Why not?
Why not? Perhaps. And I say perhaps because I don't like maybe.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I'm from a town of 7,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana at the time had 35,000.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And I was influenced as soon as I got there by people who were older.
So that was a precedence when you got there.
Talking day one.
Day one. Okay. So
Day one,
you didn't create that culture. It was already there.
It was already there. Day one, when we showed up, we had a party at the porch. There's 300 people there. Trevor Elliott's like taking a dump in some girl's closet. Like Mike Powell's got his shirt off, yelling about doing nefarious things with overweight women.
Oh man!
I mean, it was immediate
immersion.
And this is what you do.
Yeah.
Like when you're done with the keg, you know what you do? You hold it up over your head and you headbutt it until you bleed. Like it's weird stuff.
Sure.
This is not normal.
Right.
But this is what our indoctrination was this.
Okay.
Listen, I guarantee you right now, in 1995, August 17th, because that's the day I moved in.
Mm-hmm.
August 17, 1995, there is perhaps a car in Bloomington, Indiana that had the back window smashed out. Because there's a guy sitting in this room right now that I watched do it. That was our first meeting.
Yeah.
I met James. I'm like, who's this black kid? Because we didn't have it.
Right.
I didn't know he was like Mexican, Puerto Rican, or whatever he calls him. Like, I'm like, who's this black kid? Plus, it was in the summer and it was dark. He had a good smile. I could see his teeth.
Okay.
Anyway, so I was like, he smashes a window. And I'm like, what world am I in?
Yeah.
But then we did it again. And then again. And then again. Before I know it, that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Not smashing windows every time, but it was bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's, obviously listening, we're not saying this is good behavior. I mean,
awful.
It was terrible. But that was the reputation of the wrestlers. I mean, every weekend I heard about this one getting arrested. This one, literally, I heard the story about bashing the windows out. I heard that story as a senior in high school, because. Yeah, but I think that part of that again is also you said that the coaching staff kind of crumbles under it as well. You don't have the leadership.
We didn't have the leadership on that level. Also, we weren't held accountable. We didn't get in trouble.
Gotcha.
Oh, you got arrested? All right, you're going to run sprints one day. You didn't miss matches. You didn't lose scholarship money.
Gotcha.
You know what? They kind of wanted it.
Yeah.
They kind of wanted these tough kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They wanted these brawlers. But Dwayne was a Gable guy. He wanted these brawlers. And I think at the time, there's probably, probably 80s Iowa teams were probably very similar.
For sure.
So that mentality was like, listen, we weren't the Iowa guys. We were like JV Iowa. So we were like, well, we better be the best at something. But we had good relationships across the campus, really tight with the soccer team, which was amazing because the soccer team was winning national titles, right? And we were good friends with them, which was great because we used to go to the soccer parties, and all the girls on campus wanted to go meet the soccer players. At some point in time, there would be some kind of fight.
Yeah.
Well, that's when the wrestlers stepped up.
Gotcha. You really
So most of our girlfriends came through like introductions from the soccer players' leftovers.
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing against nothing beautiful girls probably.
Sure.
We just kind of got the scraps.
Well, they probably like the tough guy too. I
think some of them did.
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. So this wrestling is going on as well. You say that you're not as good as wrestlers you are maybe fighters and partiers and things like that. I mean, this lifestyle is bleeding into the wrestling, right? Like you guys are compromised.
Horribly.
Okay, so what is that like? I mean, because you're a wrestler going there that, you won a state championship, your teammates have won multiple state, you're used to winning. What does this do to your head? Because you're, on one hand, you're having the time of your life. And the other hand, you're losing at something that you are extremely passionate about and take a lot of pride in. What does that do to the mindset? I feel like you're a torn person.
Yeah, broken.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, listen, our entire team was broken. You're taking amazing athletes. I mean, like legitimately world-class athletes, and they weren't performing at all.
Right.
And this is the problem that lies within. Building a culture around bad things, whether it's wrestling or life, is not probably going to pay off for you.
Sure.
It's just not going to work.
Right.
And so we were underperforming horribly, and no one was held accountable. You know what we did? We ran more, or we ran stadiums, or we did stupid things. We were overtraining because we didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
You know what we did in the morning? 6:30 in the morning. Live goes 1 hour. There's not a 1 hour match on the planet.
Right.
The training and planning was just not done. We just overtrained. It was more important to lift and run sprints than it was to work on the technical aspects of wrestling.
Right.
And I think that's the dynamic shift now. Now it's very technical.
Yes.
And so it was like from a mindset or headspace perspective, it was rough. None of us were used to losing.
Yeah. Right.
And we were going out and getting our asses kicked.
Yep.
And then we come home and we're like, there was like, I remember our speeches were like, well, Chandler won. I can go through it. All right, 18, Cassidy. No, actually, freshman year, Moskovic. Derek, you got to get after it. This is how it goes. Torres, listen, you got lucky. You got lucky on that one, but you stalled the entire time. You won by 1 point. 34, Trevor, you were losing by friggin' 14 points and you pinned somebody, right? Chandler, of course, you did great. Butch, when are you going to wrestle? When are you going to learn how to wrestle? 58, Joe Farr. Joe, listen, when are you going to learn how to wrestle? 67 was Mike Powell. Powell, listen, you're so talented. Why? You got to get in better shape. 77, I think at the time, was Ben Noctree, probably. No. Jason DeVries, probably. Then Ben Noctree. They're weird guys, so he was just like delicate with them because they were too like intellectual.
Yeah.
And then who's a heavyweight? Like Brian Emerson. We had a heavyweight. This is how dysfunctional Indiana was at the time. We had a heavyweight named Touchdown Tommy Saunders.
Okay.
Listen, this dude will forever be legendary to me. He worked at the video store in Ellisville, Indiana.
Okay.
And he happened to be a JV wrestler in high school. And he wrestled Division I Big Ten matches for Indiana in 1990s.
That's wild.
He was the video checkout guy, like the Blockbuster guy.
Wow.
And they got him on the team because we needed somebody. Mike Dixon wasn't there yet, so it was like a kind of a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's how dysfunctional it was. Chandler won all the time. Chandler's 3-time All-American, national finalist, wrestled call-out. Chandler's great.
Yeah.
Trevor, 34-pounder, was a pinner. He could create. He was a 3-time Illinois state champ. He's in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame now for Medal of Courage. Just an awesome, awesome guy. I actually introduced you last week.
Yeah.
Pinner. And Powell was an amazing athlete, although very short-winded. Yeah, we're just dumb.
Yeah.
But the problem was, once you start losing, it's really hard to get back.
For sure.
And it's really hard to get back when you don't have leadership to get you back.
Yeah.
Nobody pulled us aside. There were things, and I'm not putting this on the coaching staff. We didn't have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the resources of, say, a therapist.
Yep.
We didn't have somebody we could talk to outside. Our academic advisors absolutely sucked. Oh, what are you, a wrestler? Psh, go take some rec courses. We didn't have guidance in any component of our college experience other than our teammates, and our teammates were degenerates. So, I mean...
And to be fair, the mindset stuff really wasn't necessarily a thing, right? Like, we didn't talk about mindset. If you did, it was be tough. That was the mindset talk, right? Are you tough? That was it. We did, so I can see that being and you have a group of you guys like that. I mean, a therapist you could have multiple therapists with full-time salaries with that team.
We had multiple probation officers. We had multiple probation officers.
I can see it. I can see it.
That was it was so stupid. But I don't regret it.
You're right. They say you had experience, but when you get out of college, I kind of see this, almost now that, hindsight's, 2020, but you say you go find the Marines because, you didn't find what you're looking for at college because you didn't live into the fruition of all that you could be. Right. And it really makes sense that you would go looking for that next challenge. I need to find me, because college is kind of the place where we sort that out. But you guys were just fighting, doing these things. So you needed that next step. Does it seem like that was the thing? Like, you're still looking for yourself?
I definitely needed the leadership. And this is what sucks, is my parents were amazing.
Yeah.
All of our parents were amazing.
Yeah.
And we really let them down. We really let them down. But I went into the Marine Corps and it was easy. Listen, I wrestled in the Big Ten.
Right. I
got some 18-year-old kid who's crying because he's not at home. Like, bro, this is cake. The Marine Corps was simple. We did, we did martial arts or whatever, or we're going on runs. I'm like, this is nothing.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We can keep doing this all day long.
Yeah.
This is like a light day. Not even a light day. This is an off day being a divisional wrestler. I'll say this: the lack of discipline that I had in high school or in college didn't bleed just into my military career. It bled into my career as a husband, as a father. It bled into my career as a professional for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but I'm pretty good at a lot of things. Like, I'm not amazing at them, but I'm pretty good. And I can kind of float through and I can kind of talk my way out of things.
Right.
And situationally, I'm okay, where I'm confident enough, and maybe that is the wrestling.
Sure.
I'm confident enough to know I can get through this, because to me, I already did something infinitely harder than any of these people have ever done. Right? If I go into a boardroom and I walk in and there's like a chubby guy in there, like, what's he going to tell me?
Right.
Unless he's brilliant, which he may be, but I'm still going to, in my mind, I've already beat him. And this is every encounter that I have.
Sure.
I probably need therapy for this. You're my therapist anyway.
Sure.
It's my problem. I call you
we can work this out right now.
the pastor, they call him. The pastor.
I have a theory, and I see it play out, in everybody's life. But you take a rope and say the length of the rope is 100 feet, and each of those feet are a year of your life. If you have something that happens, at age 13, we'll say an axe hits that, what's that rope. No matter where you're at in life, you could be 40 years old, married, have two beautiful daughters. When life happens and gets that tug, you break at 13.
Yeah.
Because you've never healed from that place. So that's the weakest point in your life. So everything that after that you build on that is on a thread.
you used this with me before, so this is not the first time I've heard it.
Okay.
And I've stolen it probably 100 times.
Yeah.
Because you said at the point in time that something is stressed,
Yeah.
there's already a problem.
That's
There's
right.
already an issue.
Yep.
And the more that you pull, the more tension, the more taut it gets.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it will break.
That's right.
It didn't break this fast. It broke over time.
Mm-hmm.
And until you go back and mend
That's it.
this trauma,
Yep.
it's not fixed.
That's right.
Many people that I see now in my life run from it.
That's right.
The difference with wrestlers is we are probably too aggressive and we want to go fix it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Also not appropriate. It
Right.
doesn't work that way.
That's right.
It has to be done over time. And this is what it's really interesting to me that you say that, because I use it all the time. There's like, if a rope is going to break, it doesn't just snap.
Right.
It's been breaking over time.
That's right.
And you have to go back and spend time. And being, being relatively successful athletically at some point in time in my life or whatever it is, I think I could just fix it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to give people the benefit of doubt. I didn't live their trauma. I didn't go through what they went through.
Sure.
My trauma is much different than anybody that I've ever met.
Yeah.
It is trauma. To me, something that I don't think is trauma at all could be devastating to
Sure.
someone else. I can't judge them. I just have to understand where they are. My problem now is I can't overreact to it and think I can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that.
Right.
It's better for me to say it doesn't work like that, because I'm still I'm stubborn.
It,
I want it fixed.
Sure. And I would say this for people that are high functioning like yourself and Torres and some of these other guys, all you wrestlers that are incredible. What happens a lot of times is pain can hide very well under talent,
Oh yeah.
because it's a great mask, because you are so good at certain things and most things, and that you become a good talker and you can work yourself through these things. Pain can live under that surface undetected by everybody except for you and those closest to you.
Listen to this, right? It can hide behind talent. It can hide behind beauty. It can
Sure.
hide behind professional success. It can hide behind religion.
Absolutely.
Like this is what it is. Like you're not healing.
Right.
I get into this all the time, but I'm like, imagine this. I say you should do the hard things.
Mm-hmm.
I myself need to tell myself this more, but you should do the hard things. And the hard things, you're doing the hard things. The benefit of doing the hard things at the end of it, the reward is amazing.
Right.
Okay. But what most people don't do is the hard things. James and I were talking on the way over about therapy.
Yeah.
Like we're two 47-year-old single dudes. Although I don't claim I'm single, but my girlfriend currently claims I'm single, which is ridiculous. Anyways, amazing girl, but I'll use her. She has trauma. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live it.
Sure.
So I'm like, you need to do the hard things. Well, the hard thing for me is I talk about therapy. I go to therapy twice a week. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I work in a weird world online. I don't really have like a social scene too much
Right.
unless I'm traveling. So I use therapy to sometimes just to bullshit.
Sure.
But I think therapy should be hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be like a wrestling practice. I think if you go to therapy and you're not like broken when you leave, you didn't go hard enough.
Right.
And I say this because if I'm a personal trainer and you come into my gym and you're like, I'm a girl, I want my butt to be tighter. Amazing. We're going to squat. I don't like to squat because my knees hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Then we're going to do RDLs. No, I don't like that. Then we're going to do split squats. Then we're going to do leg extension, leg curl, or leg extension, leg curls, or abductor, adductor. I don't like calf raises. I don't like any of those things because I get sore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the end, you just spent an hour not working out.
Sure.
But you leave and you're like, I got a personal trainer. I just did a workout. No, you didn't. You didn't put the work in.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people live this way. They lean on a crutch of something.
Right.
It could be trauma. It could be past life experience. It could be, that life isn't fair. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should do hard things, but this is what I need to understand. And I'm trying to convey this message the best I can. Your hard things and my hard things are two different
Absolutely
things.
different. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're feeling.
Sure.
Like something that happens to you and something that happens to me, totally different. I look at this, from a wrestling perspective,
Mm-hmm.
losses mean a whole lot more than wins.
Sure.
They're hard.
Mm-hmm.
winning is easy.
That's right.
Winning's really easy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know, like, what's the best match you ever had? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I won a lot of them.
Exactly.
I don't remember.
But you remember the loss.
You remember the losses and the ones that really hurt you, the ones that really sting. And I think that carries over to life. Like, this is amazing. You're fighting for success, right?
Yep.
To use this term is like, okay, one, you have to identify what success is to you.
That's right.
And then you have to identify what are the barriers to you getting there. You can use the things that you learned in wrestling or religion or education to get you there, but your speed bumps and my speed bumps are totally different.
Absolutely.
And I think people, just kind of say, oh, everyone's no. Everyone sees things through a different lens.
For sure. In another saying that I love and I coined and try to use it as much as possible I can because I believe it. It's how you do anything is how you do everything. And the reality is you may be functioning so well in this area. And everybody goes, well, you're crushing it, right?
Yeah.
Butch, you're crushing it, this, that, and the other. But if you're the guy that walks over the piece of trash on the street, at some level, even in the area that you're crushing it, you're that guy.
Y'all seen the man at the liquor store begging for your change. Hair on his face is dirty, dreadlocked, and full of,
Yeah, I know
Everlast.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, you can be that piece of trash. You can walk over people. You never walked a mile in their shoes.
No.
You've never been there. And it's really hard for people that are high performers to see people who are underperforming or not performing at all and be able to relate to them. It doesn't work.
Right.
It's like, man, like, at what parts of their lives are they not performing? I was talking with Javen earlier, right? And he's like this content creator. He's putting long form content out there on YouTube. And like, this is awesome. We were talking about working out. And I go to a cool gym in Charlotte when I'm there. And it's Instagram and influencer friendly.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Yeah, for sure.
And I look at these girls, and these girls are gorgeous. They don't work out.
Right.
They're pretty. Well, they're 22. They should be pretty.
Sure.
That's their job.
Right.
Like, whatever it is. And they make fitness videos. And they get like 1 million followers. And I'm like, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But they're playing the game. Now, what I'm going to say is, as hot as they are, where are they broken? And if it's not identified yet, it will be.
Oh, sure.
Right? It always will come out.
Always.
Like I said, the girl I've been spending like last however long with her, gorgeous, gorgeous girl, super brilliant, educated, speaks multiple languages, all of these things. Listen, her traumas and my traumas are different.
Right.
And I'm using her as an example because it makes the most sense to me. I'm like what problems does a hot girl have?
Right.
She wants a free meal. She's gonna get it.
Yeah, easy.
She doesn't have to look for a date.
No.
Like it's not hard. For her, it's not hard because, but the hard things are maybe religion, maybe, who knows? And it's just it's a weird scenario where she really taught me the most of it. Like, how do I look not at the way I see her trauma or my trauma? How do I help? How do I help that?
Yeah.
And it's not just her, it's anybody.
Sure.
How do I help them get better? Is it through kindness? Is it through you see somebody begging for change, right? I would love to know their story.
For sure.
Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's depression or some other mental illness. Probably a multitude of things. Do you think they really want to do that? No, they do not.
No.
And so I have a soft spot for that. Like, I want people to be better. I want people to be kind. I want people to learn and embrace hard things.
Yeah.
But I got to be better. I have to be better at knowing, dude, your hard things and my hard things are different.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think the big thing is, and you, excuse me, you've used wrestling, you've used the Marines and all these things to kind of develop who you are. But if we're all honest, we're all still figuring it out.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that grace of knowing that about myself extended to others goes a long way.
Well, I mean, you are an inspiration to me because when we met, I was in a really broken time. I had been married for a long time. I had my daughters, and our relationship, my ex-wife and I, our relationship was not good, and it was bleeding into other aspects of our lives. And I'm really glad that at the time that we met, and I think we met through Shane, but the time that we met, I was like, you really pulled me around. You got me into church a few times. You got like, these things are things I'd never done.
Yeah.
And then when I needed help, you were there. And this is what's wild is you now doing with this broadcast or with the podcast, you get to help people at least tell their story a little bit. And like, in between the break, we said, listen, if this helps one person, that's enough, man. That's enough. One person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for the time that you put into doing this, but you also lead services every Sunday. Like, how many lives have you impacted? And you know what I love about you? It's very authentically you. You don't get up there. You're not like a super Bible thumper.
Right.
You're like drinking beers, man. You're like, what's up?
Right.
Pretty good dancer. You have costume parties. Like, you do all of these things, but you're taking people on a path that they want. They're like searching.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're searching for an answer. You don't give them the answer. You give them the opportunity to think.
Yeah.
And see things through a different lens. And I think you're excellent at this.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I mean, it means a lot. When we started doing the church and all that stuff, I was one of those people who's like, I'm not doing church. I was kind of, sounds weird, but anti-church, just in the sense that the establishment of all of it, I didn't really agree with. And when I kind of answered the call, I just said, God, all I will be is me, and I'll be as me as I possibly can. And if that's what you want, then that's what I'll do. And that's what we've been trying to do through everything is I hope when people meet me, they meet the same person on their journey, on this journey of mine, but it's in the bar, it's here, it's there. I'm the same guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be. But you hit on something there, and I gotta go back to it real quick. Butch, what's your story?
Still writing.
Yeah. But where are we at? Like, what's gotten you here? Like,
oh man. You know what? It's, I think right now it is the ability to get really raw with myself. I made a post today about micro meditations, which I think I probably made this up. I'm just not patient enough to meditate.
Sure.
I don't got that much time.
Right.
And so I started thinking about this. It was like, if you did something for a minute, anything, if you cold plunge for a minute, if you sprint for a minute, if you wrestle for a minute, if you bench for a minute, if you squat for a minute, you're going to feel it. And so I do these micro meditations during the day, like 1 minute. It started with 30 seconds. I wanted to see. I guess I'm maybe like a little ADHD. I can't hold my... But try to go for a minute thinking about one thing as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And I'm talking a full sprint for a minute.
Yeah.
It helps.
Sure.
It really helps.
Sure.
Daily affirmations help. You start to say things and speak them into existence. And this is relatively new for me. I went through a time where I felt really broken. I didn't know what I was doing professionally, although on the surface it looked great. I had plenty of money.
Sure.
I'm like, I don't actually know where it's coming from. I have plenty of money.
Yeah.
I'm like, my relationship with my daughters wasn't great, but it's, I'm like, well, they're teenagers.
Sure.
I wanted to hang out with them, and they're like, Dad, leave me alone.
Sure.
I had cancer a few years ago. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And so like everything kind of shifted for me where I was like, how do I stop worrying about money, stop worrying about really anything other than kindness, and trying to make an impact in somebody's life? Like, how can I help them? My problem is I went too far one way on this. I was helping everybody.
Yeah. That's hard.
I wasn't asking for money.
Right.
I just wanted to help. And I sold myself really short. Financially, it kind of put me in a bind.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if one thing goes awry, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And so I've just been adjusting. My story right now is like, listen, I'm a 47-year-old bald dude with bad ears, right? Like, I like to work out. I've been reading and writing a ton, and getting more expressive. It sounds like soft, but for me, it's the hardest shit to do.
Sure.
Right? Lifting is easy.
Right.
It's simple. If I want to stay on a diet, it's easy. This is simple. What's hard for me is the things that make me uncomfortable. and reading and writing in an emotional state, writing poetry.
Yeah.
Like, this tough dude don't write poetry. Yes, he does. Right. I'll whip some out and read it. It's pretty good, actually. But my dad was a writer.
Sure.
You know, and that's what it is now my story is starting to evolve and adjust, where it's not about being the tough guy.
Yeah.
It's not about being this dipshit in Indiana trying to fight people.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to help people, but really, I hate to say this, and it sounds like completely narcissistic to say this, but I need to help me.
Yeah.
I need to start here.
For sure.
Because I can't help anybody if I help myself.
That's right.
Right? And I think you're even the one that used the kind of story about the cups overflowing.
Yeah.
If I'm not helping me, how do I help anybody else? And that's where it starts. And it's taken a while, and I think I'm on a really good path right now. And the path is like, I wake up, I work out, I get the hard things out of the way, what are perceived to be hard.
Sure.
But for me, is hard is to go 1 minute and think about one thing. Like a 1 minute sprint on thinking is really hard, but do it.
Yeah.
Like now, like, you know, whatever it is, if I'm having a problem, I write it down, and then I evaluate it in a few minutes.
Sure.
Here's my problem that I'm experiencing right now. This is how I feel. I push it away. I work a little bit. I come back to it, see how I feel. Usually my feelings, even within 5 minutes, are a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's and I think part of this is a journey that I'm on, kind of maybe so other people don't have to go through it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start teaching this. I don't want to make money on it. I want to just help people
Sure.
one at a time.
Yeah.
So
That's good. I mean, I think it's a great place to be. And I think it does start with you. It always does, always starts with ourselves. And it's hard to think about, can you teach something you've not experienced, and that healing part of that is a big part of that. Like, I need to experience healing so I can express it,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, everyone's trauma is different, right?
Sure. But healing and pain, it doesn't matter.
Listen, my girl told me this: hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
And I said, okay, fantastic. When you were 6 years old and you fell down, who picked you up?
Right.
She said, my mom. I said, who put the Band-Aid on your knee? My mom. I said, okay. I bet at some point in time your mom was hurt too.
Absolutely.
She didn't hurt you. She loved you. And I think this is what we can do. Hurt people will probably hurt people. I understand this. It's a lot easier to hurt than it is to love, right? I think anger and hate and hurt take up more space in your heart and your soul than love.
Sure.
And I think if we can flip that a little bit, like just be a little bit nicer. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, take care of somebody, do somebody a favor for nothing. Like, the rewards that you get from this really help. Like, you're just there saying, like, man, how do man, like somebody gets hurt or whatever. You're like, damn it, I wish it would have happened to me.
Sure.
But it didn't.
Yeah.
You can help them heal.
Yeah.
And I think helping people heal is probably the way to go. Sometimes it's tough love, but not always. Usually it's a little bit of distance. Usually it's a little bit of compassion or a lot of bit of compassion. And you want to get to a point where you're just like, how can I help?
Sure. And I think this is a thing that we are kind of all talking about. And it's, for me, as I've gotten older, one thing that's helped me in that grace and love for people is managing expectations, because anger is unmet expectation. That's what anger is. We have some type of expectation on people or circumstances, and when that's not met to my standard, I become agitated, angry. That's what anger is. So when I get frustrated with my wife, it's the expectation I had on the moment or the situation or what she should say or she have done, but that's all based on mine.
Yes.
So I can manage that. So when I learn to manage my expectation, I learn to manage the world around me. So it's a very powerful, almost selfish thing, but it's powerful.
Brilliant. Think about this. Like, what you just said can change lives, mine included. My expectations are mine.
That's right.
There are many like it, but this one is mine, just like my rifle. You know what I'm saying? If I'm expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen, I can get angry.
Right.
My response should not be anger, because it's my own expectation. It's the bar that I set for myself. This doesn't make sense to me in the moment. 15 minutes later, it does.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
like, damn it. Yeah, I definitely screwed that one up. You
For
know?
sure.
But I think this is a lesson that we can all kind of take away from this is like, give yourself a minute.
Yeah.
Like, set the bar a little bit lower, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to be here
Yeah.
all the time. People are going to make mistakes. Let them.
Sure.
You know, there's a book, I think Mel Robbins wrote it, Let Them.
Mm.
And it's literally the answer to everything is let them.
Okay.
They don't like it. There's being mean to you. Let them.
Gotcha.
You can't change it. You
Sure.
can't change from somebody being mean to you. Somebody calls you a bad name. Let them.
Yeah.
Cares, man.
Sure.
Does it impact you? No, it might make you mad, but your response is everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's a brilliant way to look at things. As you're explaining about expectations, unless it's predetermined by both parties in any environment, then it's their expectation and your expectation. If they meet, fantastic.
Sure.
Probably 99.99% of the time they will not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's when arguments come up or whatever, maybe communication has to be a part of this.
I think that's it. I think it's redefining, right? What I heard, what you heard, you know, even business, you know, it's like defining those expectations to the nth is going to keep us out of a place. But when we do get that place, we can go, well, let's look here, right?
Yeah.
What do we both agree upon? You know, it just, in my life, it's allowed me to manage me so much greater than managing other people.
Yeah. It's as wild as this sounds, like I'm very good at managing other people, not as good as managing myself.
Right. Right.
Up until probably a year and a half ago, 2
Sure.
years ago. And I say this because it was easy for me to direct.
Yeah.
I've had employees and whatever, like easy for me to say, you should do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never tell somebody to do something I couldn't do.
Yeah.
I just didn't think I needed to do it anymore. Like, this is your job.
Yeah.
If I hire you to do something, that's your job, not mine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do your job too. If I have to do that, I don't want you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the way it works. It is, but I think a lot of people, and this can go back to wrestling, like, you don't get to wrestle the matches for the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. I will say it's much harder to coach than it is to wrestle.
Yeah.
Because the emotional swings, like, listen, this kid wins. Listen, this kid goes out and knocks off a returning state champ in the semifinals of the state tournament, and you're like on cloud nine.
Yeah.
And the next match, it's a blood round. Senior, he's been grinding his whole life, and he just gets beat.
Yeah.
And you're just crushed.
Yep.
And the next match,
Yep.
and you're up and down. And I was like, I remember the first like tournament I coached at. It was like, it was the Missouri Open.
Yep.
In Columbia, Missouri, and there was Brady Richardson was wrestling Ben Askren. And you know, this is when Askren, he was a freshman. His big, dumb, floppy hair. He's like unathletic as could be.
Yeah.
And Brady was a good wrestler. And Brady like took him down a couple times. And the ref, and he was up like 6'3", maybe, because it was 2-point takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
And the ref came over, like, I don't know what happened. The ref was like, he's like #1 recruit in the country. I'm like, he doesn't look like it. And he obviously doesn't look very athletic. The next, first period ends or something, we're up. Second period, Askren put it on him.
Mm-hmm.
And weird floppy Ben, you know, rolling and all, put it on him. And I'm like, dude, now we're down by like 11.
Right.
Like, what just happened? Even within a match, the emotional swing.
Sure.
Right. And it's really tough, but you can't wrestle the match for them.
That's right.
And it's really hard. You can't live other people's lives for them.
Yeah.
You can hope, you can coach, you can train, you can try to instruct, but they got to do it on their own.
For sure. In what I take this whole thing we do fighting for success is because I think that the key components that make us a good wrestler, makes us a good human, makes us a good business owner. It's the reality is if I manage myself, I'm going to be a better wrestler than trying to manage. You know, you get the kid that wants to worry about his his opponent. You get the guy that worries his coach. It's this, it's that, but they're not worried about fixing them, right? And Johnny DeGiulius, good friend of mine, he's awesome, man. Love Johnny.
Buckeye, Walsh guy.
Yeah. And so he talks all the time about do the next thing, right? He's like, to take the nerves away, go check in at the table. Tell them your name. Okay, what's the next thing? Go out to the line, Find your ankle bait. Put it on. Do the next thing. Don't think about the entirety of the match. Do the next thing. That's life, right? A lot of us, especially as entrepreneurs and do this stuff like that, we're thinking home run. We're thinking about this way over here. Sometimes we just got to do the next thing.
I told a story last week to my girl. I said, let me explain something to you. I'm like 200 on a rooftop in Dubai. Like 200 meters away from Damac is D-A-M-A-C is like a real estate developer.
Okay.
Name is everywhere, all over Dubai. And I said, I can from this point with a decent rifle hit the middle of that A with one shot. And she's like, no way. I'm like, easy. Because the middle of that A is probably the size of that television. Probably bigger from the distance.
Right.
And I said, that's where I'm aiming. That's where I aim in my mind.
Yeah.
That far out, right? A person who is having problems aims this far out.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They can only see what's here.
Yep.
And with what Johnny's saying, like, listen, if you can only see what's here, do this. You got to do this.
And he was talking about managing the stress.
But what I'm saying is like, yeah, unfortunately, it ain't going away. It's right
here. Yeah.
Listen, you can shoot and get it. Also, training and using the proper a bit of training. If I have a rifle that's firing 7.62 at 1,600 meters away, I'm gonna hit it. If I got all the dope and I'm ready, boom.
Yep.
If I have a shotgun, it's not even getting there.
That's right.
Right. So you have to train with the right thing and put your skill set and tools in place.
Right. That's right.
You can't win a gun battle with a knife. You gotta put yourself in the right place.
Agreed.
And yeah, that's really good. I like, he's a movie star now.
Ah, he's awesome. Yeah.
Good dude. He jumped off buildings in Panama. I was down there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there when he did it, but I know he did it.
I've tried to link you guys multiple times.
Yeah, we got to link up. Yeah. We like kind of like a lot of similar friends, actually.
For sure.
Kind of weird world we live in, but yeah, I think we're in a spot right now where, listen, most of the men in this room, other than production staff over there, we're like kind of same age, kind of been around the block. We've had some wins, we've had some losses, and I think now at this point in time in life, we are starting to develop this thing called wisdom, and wisdom is something you can pass on. I'm not talking about like brilliance in the classroom. I'm talking about like we lived it.
Yeah, that's right.
We've been through it, and going through it and surviving to this point is frankly the fact that all these degenerate kids from Indiana in the 90s are still alive for the most part. Wildly unexpected. Yeah. I don't think even any of us are still in jail. We've been
right.
But what's wild is like we have wisdom, and we can now sit back on the backside. You asked about my story. Now I feel a little bit wise because I've lived a hard life.
Yeah.
Not like a hard life like out there grinding every day. It's been relatively easy, but hard because I've let myself down. I have my own expectations that I've not met, and I have to live with them now.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
For sure.
Right? You get past it, because you get past it, you go to the next thing. What Johnny said. You go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Did you fail? Of course you failed. Go to the next thing.
Yeah, I think consequences and accountability are a great thing. Right? Like we live in this culture where those two things almost get demonized, but I think it's an incredible thing. I want it to be my fault, because then I have the power to change it. I literally look to blame myself for as much as I can, because then the power is within me to make the change. As soon as I say, Butch, this is your fault, I no longer have power in that circumstance. Yeah. Right. So that's where I'm at in life. It's like, again, being fully aware of who I am, taking the accountability, managing my expectations, and becoming wise.
It's a tough thing to do, man.
It is.
That's like when you're all grown up now.
Right.
Like, whose fault is it? It's my fault.
Mine.
Why did it get there? Probably a million reasons why it got there. Yeah. But you have to hold hold yourself responsible. Yeah. We're in a time where it's like everybody blames everybody else, and soft. It is soft. Actually, sure. Right now it's really soft.
Sure.
Society in general, like, it's not my fault. Yes, it is. And I think this is where there's things that we can do as men, as wrestlers, as leaders, as business owners, as mentors and educators, like we should start like taking ownership of like, this is my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, you got in a fight? My fault. You burned your eggs? My fault. You were the one cooking. Okay, well, I say this about employees all the time. My employees they should be employable by me or by the next person. If they're not employable by me, I better have trained them to get a better job when they leave.
That's right.
That's my job as an employer. If I didn't train them well enough to be employed by me, maybe it's just not a good fit.
Yeah.
But if they leave and they can't get a good job, I didn't do my job as an employer is to make sure these employees are working and working well, and they're happy and successful in the job that I've asked them to do, and they've been properly trained to do it. This could be business, this could be life, this could be wrestling. Unfortunately, not everyone thinks that way.
Right.
Truth be told, I didn't think this way either. It's just now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, is coming around like, you know what? If this person fails at their job, that's on me.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Did you train them? Oh, you did. Did you train yourself enough to train them? Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, there it is.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I've asked, you heard me ask this question earlier, but you're writing, I'm writing the chapter in my Fighting for Success book, and it's, Butch's chapter. What is success and how do you obtain it?
Personally, success is, for me, knowing that I can lay my head down at night and the people that I'm responsible for have a bed to sleep in, a roof over their head, full bellies, maybe a couple beers, whatever they want. They're happy and they're healthy in their relationships. That matters. That's what I would say on the surface. Success for me is much different. I need to know that in every bit of my life, everything that I'm doing it authentically for me. I don't want to let people down, but I'm sick and tired of living to their standards. I'm okay with letting people down. If they don't agree with me, don't care.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I don't care. And this has shifted for me in probably the last 6 or 7 months where I'm like, oh, I let my mom down. You know what? Not my problem. I didn't let her down.
Right.
It's her perception of whatever I'm doing may have let her down.
Sure.
So success for me is being comfortable within my decisions, within my heart, within what I'm thinking. Like, am I okay with this? The decisions that I made, are they okay? I think that matters.
Yeah.
And owning it, right? Like, you want to make a bad decision? That's on you, bro.
That's right.
Do it. But my chapter now is sitting back, looking and going, I'm very clear-minded, very clear. I'm very focused in work. I started working with a telemedicine company in Charlotte, Male Excel. They do hormone replacement therapy for men and women. I didn't know anything about this. And what Male Excel has done for 100,000 patients at this point is they're looking at optimal health. Optimal health. Mental health, your diet, your sex drive, your libido, like, well, that's the same thing. Your musculature, like, what are you doing? Like, we're putting people back into optimal health through hormone replacement therapy, through like your GLP-1 medications, so semaglutide or Ozempic. Erectile dysfunction is a big one that men struggle with, but it's not just the medication. It's like, okay, we have meetings with doctors. They did something different. They hired doctors to work on their team. Yeah. Not like farmed it out. They are on the team to bring people back to optimal health.
It's huge.
Part of this is not only the physical side, but the mental side. Like, you like lose brain fog because you're taking testosterone. Well, bro, you're 47 years old. You don't produce that much anymore.
Right.
A little bit can go a long way. And what they're doing is Craig, the CEO, is like, we flipped the script on this. We brought it in-house and we want this boutique like experience for the patients to bring them to optimal health. We don't want you to have big muscles. It doesn't matter to them. Optimal health. And I think optimal health also has to do with your mental health and fitness. Last week I keep saying I was in Dubai. Affiliate World Conferences does 3 a year. So Dubai, Bangkok, and Budapest. And I spoke last week on physical and mental health. And I told people this, like, the physical stuff is easy.
Yeah.
Right? It's real easy.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. Right? The mental side is not so easy.
Yeah.
So for me, you look at me and I like, I'm not as jacked as Caleb, but listen, I look okay.
Yeah.
For 47, I'm pretty damn strong. I'm stronger than most people that I'm in the gym with, and they're 25 or something. But the mental side is really difficult for me.
Sure.
And I think it's my story right now is clawing my way back out, from probably a pretty dark place. And I think the best way I can do this is understanding of shit gets hard sometimes.
Yeah.
You got to do the hard things. You just have to.
Yeah.
They're not going away.
Yep.
Like, they're just not. Have difficult conversations you don't want to have. You know why? They're not going away. It's just going to prolong things, or distance gets too much. And then, it's just not worth it. Do the hard things first. So,
would that be your advice if somebody out there struggling right now and they're listening to this? Would that be your advice to someone to get through this? Do the hard stuff.
It's not going away. You have to do it, right? Like, what if the hardest thing is like not drinking?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only way to not drink is to not drink.
That's it.
What's your answer?
Yeah.
Don't pick up a bottle. Improve your life. Go do something that's so far away from drinking. Like, listen, get in a car and drive to Baja California, Mexico. If you live in California, I don't know why I said that, but I only been there because I went like 10 miles. I didn't see one person.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get a drink in the middle of a freaking desert? You're not. Impossible.
Right.
Go there, bring a tent and like 10 gallons of water.
Yeah.
Go a couple days, dry out. Like, things like this matter. But you have to put these hard things first. If not, they're gonna continue to build and fester, and ultimately they erupt at some point in time. So I would say, do the hard things, whatever that may be for you. And like I said, everyone's hard things are different. Secondarily, find an outlet of something that makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use you because you're a man of faith, but my friend Melanie Christmas, she's probably not listening, probably will never even see this. She said, you know what? I'm not really religious, but I never felt bad leaving church.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Right.
Most people go to church, they don't feel bad when they leave.
Sure.
Like, even if you have no concept of religion,
right.
Go to a church. Somebody's going to say hi to you.
Yeah.
The greeter's going to shake your hand. You might get a good message, right? Maybe you have a tattooed, pastor in front of you that makes you laugh, plays cool music, whatever. Like, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So start there, literally. And I'm not like super religious guy.
Sure.
I'm saying, like, if you're in a bad spot, go to church.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel worse. Pick up the phone and call me. I don't care who you are. Pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah.
951-428-9003. That's what, text me, call me. I don't care. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
And you can just say, dude, I'm in a bad spot. Talk to me. I'm not a therapist, but I've been in therapy enough to know. Good Lord.
That's good. So swinging it back to the wrestling stuff and just, kind of one of the closing questions here is, because we learned so much from the people that we look up to. Who are your Mount Rushmore wrestlers?
That's that's a great question. It's going to be probably skewed all over the place. Sure. I'm all right with it. Alfred Freed's up there. He's so stinking weird. And at the time, he was like the level of wrestling that people aspired to be. I think it's hard to not put Gable on there. Yeah. Not Stevenson, but Dan Gable. Yeah. And truth be told, Gable Stevenson might not be far off.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
He might not be far off. I love Burroughs, obviously, because there was a time when it's Burroughs and Dake and Taylor all in the same mix. Yeah. And oh, by the way, anybody that's international, it's hard not to put him there. Yeah. Honestly, I think it'd be really difficult not to put Kale up there. Yeah. Not the wrestler Kale. Yeah. The coach Kale.
It's wild.
Because right now what he's doing is unprecedented. Gable had a style, but the people that Kale is putting out is wildly impressive.
For sure.
They are pillars of the community. Yeah. They're good men. Yep. They're incredible wrestlers, but they're going on to do really, really awesome things post wrestling, which is kind of that's the thing. Wrestling is going to end it's not going to end in, you're always going to keep wrestling. Like Gilman said it. He's like, I didn't leave my freaking shoes in the mat or what. No, Mako said that, but it was something like, I'm still going to go back and wrestle tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Wrestling isn't leaving. It's not leaving your body. So it's something like this, but what Kale is doing from a humanity perspective is wildly impressive. Internationally, Karelin, you can't leave Karelin off.
Right.
I don't know how many people are on Mount Rushmore. I think there's 4.
Yeah, that better.
That's Seti of RIP.
Yeah.
Dave Schultz is up there. Personally, like my dad,
Sure.
Dude never wrestled a match in his life. But
It's wild, but it's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked this question earlier too, but the match that stands out, either one that you loved or the one that broke you.
Okay, I'll tell you the one that didn't stand out first.
Okay.
State title match.
Okay.
Mindless. I won 6-5. I think Jane, what'd you win? 6-5? 4-3. 6-5 win was, but I expected to do it. It was really like insignificant. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's the one that didn't stand out. The one that stands out the most, there's 3 that I always talk about, so I'll pick one of them. My freshman year wrestling 150, I made weight. I made scratch 150. James did not make 126, but I was next to him in the sauna, and it was bad.
Yeah.
My normal weight was 168. Mind you, I weigh 215 right now.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting to 150.
Yeah.
And first round match, this guy, Lincoln McElravy. Yeah, I'm not forgetting that one. So this is McElravy's senior year. Freshman, senior. First round. And he had this big pillow on his head because he had concussions. And we're going out. Goldman says, you got no chance. Go for his head. Like, try to headbutt him. Knock him out. That's my only shot.
Oh, my gosh.
So he takes me down 3 times in 8 seconds. It was a good takedown. That's, they Iowa guys. He just came out to the front.
Yeah.
And I didn't stand up.
Okay.
And so he just went back around in 2.
Okay.
So he did it again, and then I tried to run away from him, and he caught my ankles. I fell out of bounds. So anyways, he teched me. It was like 22-7 or something.
Wow.
7 escapes for sure.
Yeah.
And I walked to the mat, and Dwayne said, if you ever wrestle a match like that again, you'll never wrestle for me. And I walked away, and I was like, well, I mean, like going out, my plan was just to try to knock him out.
Right.
It wasn't like I had a legitimate plan.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty tough one. Jeff Catcherbone wrestled at Michigan in the 90s. And I swear to God, that dude literally tried to rip my arms off. That was the most painful match I've ever had.
Really?
Physically painful. And it wasn't like a horribly, it wasn't like a horrible beating. But like physically, it was bad.
Gotcha. Made you want to quit?
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the last one was Ryan Cunningham. He wrestled at Michigan, or Central Michigan. Casey's brother, I think. Yeah. He spladled me. And I remember the stinking referee. I couldn't pin I was trying to pin myself. I couldn't get my back down. And he was just ripping me in half. And the referee, his name is Tyler. I remember him. I couldn't pin myself. And I was trying to I was like, I'm pinned.
I'm done.
I am pinned.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I'm like, so those 3 were bad. I would put those in order. The McElravy match, and then Catcherbone, and then Ryan Cunningham. I wrestled a kid, Cole Clausen from Wisconsin, and he was like this kid from Idaho or Montana or something, like bull rider.
Yeah, just tough.
And he just stood there and just clubbed me. It was like 1 minute into the match, and I was like, dude, I can't even pick my head up right now. 0-0. And I was like, I can't even move my head.
Done.
It was fun. Like wrestling the Big Ten, you run into these guys like, what is this? Like, come on, man. Who trains this?
Yeah.
Those 3 matches are good. And I think Catcherbone's kid wrestles in Michigan, or not at Michigan, but maybe he's in Michigan States right now. Or maybe New York, but I think he's from New York, but he wrestles in Michigan. But yeah. And listen, if somebody's out there wrestling Jeff Catcherbone's son, be careful.
Exactly.
You're going to die.
You're gonna die.
You're not going to have arms anymore.
That's awesome. I love hearing those stories. So, I mean, I've enjoyed this, and we like I said before, we could do this all night, and we got to continue this conversation because I think your life is forever changing and interesting, and it's awesome. I tell people that I always pray, think about the guy that's going to be sitting in the seat. And oddly enough, I already knew your character, like it was immediate before when we talked about doing this, it immediately came. And it's the same one, and it's very similar to the story of Pat Downey. And now let me explain. So, yeah, I know. And the Pat's one, I love
PD3.
I love PD3.
We're gonna kick it.
He's my dude. You'd actually love that dude if you hung out with him. He's awesome. But here's the character and the man that I got was Solomon. And if you're not familiar with the story, he was given the option of, hey, when he was a gift. What do you want? You could give, could ask for power, you could ask for money, you could ask for all this stuff. And he asked for wisdom. And he became this incredible king that was so wise and did so many amazing things. But his journey took him down these weird paths, and he kind of got off course this way, and he started to struggle through that, in his life. And one thing that became evident, and at the end of his life, he made this complete circle around. And I mentioned this to Pat as well, but the one thing that because he was on this pursuit, but the one thing that he needed was home.
Yeah.
And he was constantly looking for something that he had on the inside the whole time. And it was this longing for something that he needed to go in instead of out to find. And I believe that's who you are. I believe that there is a home inside you that's you're discovering.
I'm so thankful you said that, because I've been traveling for the last 5 years, nonstop, 70 something countries. Like 2023, I took 271 flights.
That's wild.
Like, who
that's
does
wild,
that, right? Like, I have not stopped traveling. About 6 months ago, I said this. I said, I was talking to my girl. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to travel. I don't need to go to the conferences anymore. They come to me. If I want to talk to somebody, I can just text them.
Yeah.
At any level. I don't need to go do that. Why am I doing it? Why am I spending my time to go do something that I don't need to be doing? And so, and it's like, I haven't had a home.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm saying, like, I physically don't have a physical home.
Yeah.
I've been living, like, I live in Airbnbs and hotels and airplanes and, hook up with friends, whatever it is. And I love it, but I don't love it that much.
Right.
Like, if I have my goal, my dream, I grew up in a small Midwestern family, mom, dad, sister, and good family.
Yeah.
And I tried to do that once. It didn't really work. I have two daughters that are amazing.
Yeah.
One's at University of Maryland, the other's at junior high school. And they're doing really well. And then my ex-wife, she was a 2-time Olympian, super successful and all this stuff. She has a good life now without me, actually much better. And I'm thankful for my time, but I think I learned a lot in this. And I was like, how is it? Like, you know what I want? I want to do it again. And take maybe a little bit of this wisdom that I learned in the first 20 year go around, and say, how do I do this the rest of my life? Do you want to have more kids? Let's do it.
Right.
I want to have 10 kids, 20. I don't care.
Right.
Do you want to, like, my friends are like, why in the hell would you want to get married? I'm like, why would I not? You know what I mean? You feel this. And so, and then, like, what does home look like? It means settling down, putting roots down, developing a social system around you. And you're exactly right. I'm so thankful you said this, because for me, that's the one thing that I'm missing. You know what I don't miss? Any place in the world. I've been there.
Right.
There's only 70 countries. You name it, I've been there.
Yeah.
How is it? Nah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to, like, Dubai and you're not excited, okay. Like, I've been to Dubai 20 times. Like, how is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to see the Eiffel Tower. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It sucks. Paris sucks. Like, all these things.
Sure.
And so at this point, it's kind of like, that's really what I'm looking for. And it's so wild. We speak occasionally in text or whatever, but you pull something from me from a 1 hour conversation, and you knew even before I came in, you even knew before, like, this is what this dude needs.
Yeah.
And I'm super thankful that you said it, man.
Well, dude, I'm a fan of yours. I appreciate you, man.
Who isn't?
I mean, that's true. That's
El
true.
Toro Blanco.
Yeah, I see it right there. I mean, if you got a nickname like El Toro Blanco. I mean, listen,
the Latinas can't say Butch.
Oh, is that how that came up?
Yeah. I was in Colombia, and you your wife's
my wife,
Colombian.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She they can't say Butch.
Okay.
They're like Bush. I'm like, that is not my name. I'm like Butch, like butcher.
Yeah.
Bush. I'm like, nah. But I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
And I'm a gringo.
Okay.
So
There
Banco.
you go.
And then it happened in Cartagena, and I just kind of stuck. And I was like, I hate to say it, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Like Toro Blanco.
It could be worse.
Yeah,
sure.
it was way worse. Yeah, it's cool. I love it. Like, why do you wear this stupid shirt? Like, my businesses are named, my LLC, El Toro Blanco. Like, I do everything like kind of something with a bull.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a bullshitter, but
Either way,
I mean,
it's there.
But man, listen, I'm supremely impressed by what you do. I'm incredibly thankful for you. You've saved my life. I promise you, 10 years ago. And then when this started, I was like intrigued by it. Not so much of the people that you have on this wall. It's the message that you're getting across and taking from them. And it's unbelievably impressive, and please don't stop.
Dude, I appreciate that.
I want more.
Appreciate that. And dude, likewise, we're like two ships passing a night a lot of times, but dude, it's awesome to always catch up with you, and man, keep fighting for success and keep doing what you're doing. And I'm a fan, and we got to link up more. You got cool friends, so I want to hang more.
I got a whole Cassidy's in town
That's
tomorrow morning.
Is he?
Yeah, but listen, I don't even understand Pat Cassidy speak. The dude's from Bloomington, Indiana, and I can't understand him.
You're not the only one that said that.
I'm like, I was like, what is he saying? He's
Yeah.
like, is he Cajun?
yeah, for sure.
I don't know what he says.
No, nobody does. But dude, you're awesome, man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man.
Love you, bud.
Cool. Love you too.
We rocked it. That's it. Let's do it, bro. That's awesome, man. Crushed it, dude. Absolutely crushed it. That was good. Love you, my friend.